Well, that was wicked, AD. Man, I haven't seen you in years, and I'm so glad of the journey that you ended up on. Where in the heck did you find these guys?
Years of just playing and running into people, but like, oh, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you know. But no, thank you. I want to thank you, man, for reaching out. It was good to see you. We haven't connected for a long time. I mean, I
You're over in the New York scene, right? You still over in New York?
Still in the New York scene. Yep, doing that. Thank you. Yeah, it was really nice. I love it. I love the feeling of the place. It's great. It's a nice little spot.
So what do you what do you call the style of music you're playing? I heard a little bit of Cajun in there. I heard some Americana. I heard a little bit of bluegrass.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, man. Like I hate. I always just like I at first
I know
for a while
labels.
I know it's like Americana, but I don't like that. I don't know. I just always said, oh, it's original country folk and blues, and that's what it is.
Really
it's
got
original country folk and blues. I don't want to say Americana. I don't want to say anything. I try to mix it all up. And yeah, that's what it's been for a while. I mean, I can't get out of it.
But you got that hot sauce in there, though. That Cajun feel. It brought me back to New Orleans right away. As soon as I heard, wow, before she even took out the accordion, I could hear the style in there.
I know
and then she brought that accordion out, and I was like, well, that's some hot sauce there. That's some crab broil.
Miss Beatrix Griner is the one. She's the one. I mean, she's so wonderful. She's a sweetheart and just so much fun to play with. Yes, she's got it. Right? And I don't think it was funny. Like, I mean, and this is the first time playing with all these guys together tonight too, and which makes it even better. I mean, we had a couple weird rehearsals where it was us over here, and then me and this guy got over here and played a couple. We could not all make it into a night with each other.
Oh, so, I know what that's
right.
I know what that's like.
Exactly, but they all nailed it. They're so good. Chance I've known for a while. He works on my guitars. I don't know him, but I've seen him around, and he plays with a bunch of players that I've played with before, and he's remarkable. And any kind of string thing. Apparently, he's a drummer too. I don't know anything about that, but he plays all styles. He's really good.
Well-rounded.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and Trixie, of course, I gotta hand it again to Trixie. She brought Jeff Ratu.
I always get that wrong. I say Ratatouille, but it's not.
It's Ratu. Yeah, Ratu. Yes, and she plays in a big band somewhere. I guess I don't know their names. I'm sorry, but and we were kind of. I've been in looks for a drummer for does it, and she said, I think I know one. I just and she brought him to the table, and he fit right in, and it was really sweet of him because he
came in recently, didn't
he? Yeah, he came. We actually did get together and do it. So we rehearsed and stuff, but it's nice, and now I think we're going to play with him again, which is great because I've been looking for a drummer.
Yeah, you guys had a great bond together. Sound wise,
and he's a super nice guy, dude, and. I don't know, just everything came together, man. I've been playing with Worm, the guy who played the beard. He had the
stand-up bass.
Yeah, the stand-up bass. Yeah,
not the cello, folks. Not the cello.
Not the cello. Right. No, but I've known him for too long. I've known him for about we were in one of the first original bands that I've ever actually made. He was. The bass player, he didn't play upright, but he played funky kind of funk bass. We were an old funk band called Plot 101. Met a lot of really good people. And moved on from that, but whatever. Anywho, and he just came to me just pretty recently in the last about 2 years here, a year and a half, and started playing upright. And he was like, I want to play upright with you. I said, all right, let's do it. So.
Nice.
And then you came in and asked us to come do this, and that was awesome. It was just good to see you and hear from you.
Well, I'm so glad that this is what it's about. I want to inspire bands and musicians to get together. Years and years ago, I didn't even know this. I had a friend that I asked if he played organ, and he said no, he didn't. But he's going to look for somebody. We never did find one. 4 years later, he calls me back and said, "Hey, I've been practicing the organ for 4 years.
Yeah, right on.
Hard, practicing hard." And this guy I can't believe how far he went in 4 years.
Right, right.
And
especially, I mean,
then I started hiring him. That's the whole thing
love.
where you can instill that little light in somebody, and they grow with it. That's why I feel like I'm here on Earth, because the inspiration is just beautiful.
No, and I don't know how to say it. You just reaching out was beautiful, man. Especially the timing, because this was about 2-3 months ago when you reached out, and it was still, the whole pandemic thing was happening, and man, I was just like,
the idea was rolling around in the head.
Yeah, you got me kicking, right? You started, and I needed that, man. Like there was nothing.
It was very depressing for a lot of artists.
Good and bad. I liked it because I took a lot of time and I wrote some songs, which was nice. But yeah, there was like, oh God, I got a lot of things to say right now, and I can't really say it to anything or anybody. And yes, man, and that stoked me just because of the whole, because everything was starting, right.
It's kind of like when you're rehearsing, but you don't have a gig.
Right, and you get that kind of that first gig. Oh,
you get a gig, now you got a deadline, so you're
now
like, we got a crunch.
A purpose. Absolutely. It's a purpose, and you gave, seriously, it was the first purpose of the year, basically. Now, I'm not saying that any of the gigs that I did play in between are very crazy and few, but they weren't not a purpose, but this was like, okay, it's like, it's a showcase. You got to, all right, good, now I got to prepare and find, and I always play alone or by a duo a lot. So to have the nice band.
So A.D., tell me a little bit about your past and how you got started. What inspired you to first pick up? Was the guitar your first instrument?
I guess technically no. My first one was an alto saxophone.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
Well, you're in school, you get the sax, and it was awesome because my dad played a little guitar. He was the closet musician, loved good guitars, loved rock and roll and good music, but didn't play in front of a lot of people. But he had a great thumb, man. He had one of these heavy thumbs. Same with my brother, same kind of a guy. He's just a good player, just kind of hides and doesn't whatever. And so I was always around him, and I put, like I said, we'd rock out and I'd try to play the horn but then I went away, you're like, oh, I don't want to play that, and I went on, and probably when I was like 15 or 16, I was 15, I was pretty much 15, I was skateboarding. That's the famous story. I was famous. Not famous, but it's the story I tell every time.
Famous in your world.
It's the same. I was skateboarding. I did a freaking airwalk or something off a freaking, a ramp, and I broke my leg pretty bad, and I was laid up, and a couple days later my dad come down and he was just like, well, you ain't got nothing else to do, so he literally hands me a guitar, and so I laid in bed, and it was a compound fracture almost, and so it was both a thing. So I one of the ones that you should have had, like the dog in the cartoon, it's up in the air and stuff, but they stopped doing that at the time, and it was bad, whatever. But
so it's like you were saying about the pandemic.
Oh,
every time you see something that you think is negative, you can search for something good that comes out of it.
Absolutely, man, and that's what came out of that. Exactly, the whole thing. You know what I mean? It's always music. It's always been, and like I can't get away from it. You're like, oh, one of the things I also want to say, I know this sounds weird, is that I don't like saying writer's block. I don't know. I heard somebody say this, and I'm stealing it. I can't remember who said it, but I'm stealing it. But they're like, there's not a writer's block. You just don't have anything to say right now. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Like, just sometimes you're just like, how many songs can I write about this and this and
or
this
you could be
that?
so deeply in an emotion that you don't. It's just so deep that you don't have words for it yet.
Right, or that on top of it, right? You don't have words for it yet, or maybe you just don't want to talk about it, and that's sometimes you're allowed not to talk about things too, Mm-hmm. But yes, it's because I would go through slumps and I'm like, yeah, music, and it could be whatever, but I love it.
So, what's some of your biggest influences?
Well, I would say again, like, probably my father. I mean, he wasn't like an awesome whatever, but he always turned me on to stuff and kept me moving with it.
And what kind of music did you listen to or play?
He would do the whole anywhere from the jazz, and his father was a crazy jazz skull, and or Rolling Stones, and shit like that, and just rock and roll. And I don't know, he liked everything, and he was always supportive, always got me the guitars and got me the that and got me the, well, you're gonna do it now, you know what I mean? Kind of wanted to see it, do it now. Stop talking about it. Get
My
out there.
father was the same way. He was always the person that, I played drums because of him, and my first time on the kit was his 9-piece Premier kit. But he always would push me when I feel like there was an accomplishment. I'm so proud of what I did. He wouldn't let me settle. He wouldn't let me settle. He'd say, "Well, what are you gonna do with that?"
Yep. What's next?
Which at the time I didn't understand. I thought he was just being mean. But now, you think about it, and it's like, man, he pushed me to do a lot of great things in my life.
What's next? He would always say, "Oh, hurry up! Like, why? Like, I mean, like, I'm not gonna be here forever, and I want to see it. Hurry up! Everything you talk about, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to write. Hurry up! I want to see it." He was without getting morbid or whatever. He was severe diabetic, and he kind of knew. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna be here much longer, but he did it. Just hurry up! I want to watch it. I want to see it. So he was always there about it.
So what kind of stuff do you listen to?
Man, like growing up, it was like hardcore crazy stuff. I mean, how my first band was called the Skinless Boners. So it was just like, so I grew up on everything. But right now, oh God, man, a lot of I went through the phase of stop. Oh, I don't like that, and waiting because 5 or 6 years later, or 3 years later, or 2 years, whatever it is, I like it. So I fell into Guy Clark, and believe it or not, Bob Dylan. I know that sounds funny. Everybody knows Bob Dylan. He's been around for years. I hated him forever. I've seen him, and I don't want to say hate him. I just was like, it's Bob Dylan. But now I don't know. I think we all go through like these weird. And then you finally connect to something. You know what I mean? Like, and right now, but I'm a huge Tom Waits fan. That's obvious. Like a cat named Brian Wright from Tennessee. There's a lot of really good, just like Hayes Carl, and just a lot of good people. I don't know. Just been listening. I hear somebody. I'll go and check a Deer Tick. I know that. I've known them forever, but I've been getting into them now. Like you go through these phases. Like we're like, it's okay, and then 5 years later, you can't get enough of it. Or vice versa, maybe sometimes. Like, you listen to something, you're done,
All right, so have you wrote any albums, or are you in the process of writing material for an album?
Yeah, I am. I have lots of songs. Just don't understand the album thing anymore, I guess. Like, I just, I have 2 now, and I don't know how you go about it. I think, am I going to start getting, doing singles and things like that? Yeah, I think, yes, absolutely. I have plans, and I do actually have a thing that's been going on here. I might I am doing. I just gotta get, I have a partner who's going to be doing some. I'm not great with this, but some 7 inches. He has an old 1940 lathe, and he can make it and press his own. 7-inch records. So.
I think it's important to have your stuff archived.
Yes, absolutely.
Because there's stuff now there's bands that I played with years and years ago, and I get in the mood to listen to that style because I haven't heard it forever. Like, man, I wish I archived that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's what I want to do. It's so hard, but then you want it professionally done, and that's where that money comes in, and it just gets so hard.
Right.
You know what I mean? I want I just want to get better and better and better. But now I'm like, not that I gotta go backwards, but let's try to do some maybe I'll try to. You know, I have a little studio and friends that know what they're doing. You know, because I don't. You know, so I don't know. Who knows? Yes, always have something going on. I'm always writing. I have stuff. Do I have a huge plan right now? Absolutely not. But
that's what I was
things
going to
will
ask.
be happening.
What are you planning for the future for the band?
Right. Well, for the bit, that's what I'm saying. It's actually that was the thing. I have been talking to guys who's got some old equipment and he's pressing old records and he wants to do some side A and B's, you know, little 7-inches. So, but that's the thing. It's like I'm thinking that I might, you know, find somebody who has a studio. You know, I mean, right, exactly, and maybe do 2 songs. So because it's, you know, that's what it is. I want it to be kind of homegrown again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of why I don't know if the viewers here. I never really talked about this. I don't know if the viewers here understand why I'm using GoPros, and some of my stuff to them might look filmy if they're professional videographers. But I purposely went that route. I could have went the other route. But I went that route because I wanted to feel authentic. I wanted to feel like I was at home. I'm just somebody at home. I didn't want it to be overproduced because then I feel like you lose a little bit of that feeling of authenticity. Right. Tongue tie. That's tongue tie.
I hear exactly what you're saying.
But yeah, so that little, it's like rustic. It's like, you know, steampunk a little bit. You just
not perfect.
That rust is beautiful in there.
Right, absolutely.
You don't want to brush that rust off.
Right, absolutely.
So that's my theory behind that, and I totally get that.
Right. There's times where you have it and you want it, and then there's times where you're like, I want dirtiness. You know what I mean? I went back, you know, to kind of reach out, and like you're saying, like what you're doing, man. You're reaching out to your own. And you know, you're trying to, you know, help the community, the music community, and everything you're doing. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
It's what needs to be done. And we all thank you.
Well, I welcome you to the family because I'm going to be here for you, and
thank you.
I can't wait until I can hear you guys playing out live. If I could make it, I definitely will be there because I like to support local musicians. And if the fans watching wants to donate, everybody, this band could use help to get back on their feet.
All the time.
Every little bit helps, even if you go and like their page or you.
That's one of the biggest.
Yeah,
right
or you share their material. We need to work together and get these gigs back and get the good musicians out there creating good music again. Because I do believe that music is a part of the spirit, and when you take that away, that's why we have all that depression and all those evil thoughts and negativity. Because we need that uplifting music
and a plan
to come out of this together as a human being, as a world.
We need people like you too, man, that help do this. I mean, you know, you're behind the scenes. You don't even being seen right now, and you're doing it, you know, and this is doing it, and we thank you. You know, honestly, man, thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans before we wrap up?
Man, all 3 of them, thank you.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure. I can't wait to hear more from this band because you guys are fantastic.
Well, thank you, man. Thanks for listening.
All right, guys, you all be safe out there. Till next time, peace.
Hey guys, it's Justin
and Jamie
from Creative Sound Studios Online. We really appreciate you guys tuning in, subscribing, and watching these local artists perform.
We really do this from the bottom of our hearts, and with your support we can continue to help performing artists and musicians. So if you'd like to donate, there's a donate link on the website. Only give what you can. I really think you're going to enjoy what's coming up. And once again, we thank you.